Hey everybody, welcome to Rob Squad and the Creators. As always, we are so excited to be in studio today with these amazing people, these iconic people that have done so much. But before we get started, let us introduce ourselves. As always, you are here with your boy Jay.
Hey y'all, you're also here with your girl Amber, and our guest today is one of the most successful music producers ever. And we have reacted to nearly 30 of the songs that he produced. He's behind some of the most celebrated songs in the entire history of music. Phil Collins, The Police, Paul McCartney, David Bowie, and Genesis are just some of the acts that he helped guide through his illustrious career. To say that we are fortunate to have Hugh Padgham here as our guest is an understatement. So please welcome to Rob Squad and the Creators, all the way from Greece.
That's our farthest guest.
Mr. Hugh Padgham.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
First of all, Amber just listed the names, and holy cow, to be in the presence of some of those artists. I mean, every single one of them that you named are just iconic.
I was very lucky to sort of be in the right place at the right time early on in my career. And I mean, I first started to when I joined Virgin Records as a house engineer they had a studio in London in 1979, and that's where I met XTC and ended up doing 3 albums with them. But it was through XTC that I met Sting from The Police, and then through working, I also got to work with Peter Gabriel on his 3rd solo album, and it was through working with Peter Gabriel that I met Phil Collins.
You worked at a little record company in a little place where they would let you kind of mess around with old tracks. You were kind of an apprentice, and then and then you moved on. I think I said a couple months later, and that's kind of how you got your start.
Yeah. So for me, it was a stroke of luck to be able to land a job at Virgin Record Studios, and in those days, the whole staff of Virgin Records was about 35.
Wow.
It was before the airline, before everything, and so everybody kind of knew each other as well. We all knew Richard Branson, and it was like a kind of a family in a way, and it was really, it was good fun, but also, we were serious about making records and making records sound as good as we could.
Well, you've worked with some very creative names. From what we've learned so far on the channel, listening to the music that you have helped produce. But when it comes to this particular group, The Police, I mean, these are 3 big, very creative names. And I wonder what it was like working with a group that was that big. I mean, you had Stuart Copeland, Andy Summers, and of course, Sting. But this was a really big group with really big names. So what was it like kind of managing that and helping make one of the biggest songs of all time?
Well, I'd actually worked with them on their previous album as well, which was called Ghost in the Machine, which was done two years before in the same studio in Montserrat in the West Indies. And so I had met them and done a whole album with them. The relations between the band members was pretty good, and so I was somewhat surprised 2 years later when I arrived back in the studio to do the Synchronicity album to find that Sting and Stuart weren't getting on very well, to put it lightly. And so that was quite a shock, because I hadn't, in those days, we'd finish an album and they would go off and tour around the world for 18 months or whatever. And I would go off and just go into the studio with another artist doing albums, and we had no social media and stuff in those days, so you didn't really keep in touch personally with people. And so we all just sort of actually, I saw Sting in London before we went out there to record, so I heard some of the demos, including Every Breath You Take, which I remember thinking, oh my gosh, that is a seriously, good song. And the manager, Stuart's brother, was there, and he is quite a character. And he said, God damn it, that's a hit. If ever I heard one, you better make it a hit, boy. Talking to me. Very bad American accent there, I'm afraid. The thing is, though, we got out to the studio, and things were so bad that after 10 days to 2 weeks, we didn't have anything on a piece of tape to play anybody. Miles, the manager who I just mentioned a minute ago, came over, and I remember us having a meeting in front of the studio. There was a swimming pool right in front of the studio, and we had a meeting there, and the ultimate question was, do we carry on or split the band up right now?
Oh, so wow.
If someone had said yes rather than no, Every Breath You Take might never have happened, or would never have happened.
So that decision right there, wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Every breath you take depended on that decision right
and
there.
If the votes would have swayed any other way, we would have not gotten one of the most iconic songs ever.
And that's the thing about the Police. I like them because in a lot of their songs they put a lot of different cultural sounds, and I think that is so fantastic, and it's very different.
But you know what? There's a vibe on that record, especially on the first side with the songs Synchronicity, the more rock orientated songs, where for me I can hear and feel the tension and anger in Stuart's, particularly. He's a fantastic drummer, but I can feel the tension in the air in those recordings.
Oh.
Wow, because you had a different perspective of the music being made and the atmosphere that it was made in. So it's crazy what you're able to hear, because obviously you're there.
I'm there. My job is to make these songs sound like a record, and not just a record, a hit record. And of course, that encompasses not only the fact that I do all the knob twiddling as well. So I came up in my early part of my career working in a studio as an assistant engineer. I was looking at your interview with Tony Visconti, and he started producing from a musician's point of view. So he's a very talented musician in his own right, but he would go into a studio and rely on an engineer to actually put the mics up and get the sounds and all that, and he would be putting in his input from a sort of more musician type.
A musician.
Although saying that, I did learn piano and classical guitar when I was younger, but I came into producing via the actual studio route. So I learnt my trade as an engineer in the studio. So I knew what mics to use, where to put them, and how to record.
That's something I never would have thought about.
Yeah.
Just the two, looking at it from a music side like Tony, and then looking at it from a studio side like you.
Well, in those days as well, there was no computer recording at all. Nowadays, everybody uses, Pro Tools or Logic, these applications that you use on your Mac usually. And everything in the days that we're talking about, the 80s, was all recorded onto analog tape. And you had a finite you had a finite amount of tracks on that tape. So nowadays, if you're recording onto computer, you never have, if you don't know whether you like something or not, you can just keep it in the background. Whereas back in the old days, you had to make much more decisions as you were going along, because you couldn't keep things if you didn't want them, because you needed the actual tracks
Right.
for the recording, and we only had 24 tracks, and so it was, you had to make a lot more decisions as you go along, which was in some ways a good thing, looking back on it now. And the other thing is, the actual audio sound of analog, people absolutely love still to this day, and there's something, the warmth of it. I don't know if it's come up on any of your other interviews and stuff, but the old-fashioned analog sound is great. And
to me, it sounds better.
Yeah.
But speaking on, we were just talking about every breath you take. I want to real quick just pull up a video of the first time that we heard it. It was very, very early on in our, kind of music journey, whenever we very first found out about the Police. So real quick, I just kind of want to pull that up and kind of just show you our first take. Let's go ahead and start this up just real quick.
This is a blind reaction by both of us. Neither one of us know who this band is or the song, but babe, tell them who we got.
So today we're listening to The Police, and the song...
The Police. Policeman band?
Why are you so logical with every single name of the band? Like,
Police,
he's like, it says police. They must be policemen.
They must be policemen.
I doubt it. I bet you there's a different meaning to it. I mean, you could be right. I could be like, oh yeah, that could be.
And watch it.
I hate watching old videos of myself.
There's something more to that.
And what is the song?
Every breath you take.
Every breath you take. Do you know what genre this is?
No. I'm trying not to get so stuck on genres, though, because a lot of the subscribers say, like, there's a lot of, especially songs from past, that just don't fit into genres. So I try not to focus on that as much.
All right. So the Police, Every Breath You Take. Let's go ahead and get into this. Let's go. Oh.
Such a good song. Now
this feels
that
like
we know
80s already. Hold on a second. Does this not sound?
See, and now, by the way, I hate looking at old videos of myself. So
How long ago was
that's
that?
when we.
I was pregnant at that
Yeah,
point.
it was 3 years
probably
ago.
3 years ago.
Amber was pregnant with our son, so it was quite a while ago. But now that obviously we've heard the song so many times. Like even when it started, like I hear stuff that I feel like I didn't hear the first time that I heard the song.
I did the same movement. It's just something about the way it starts. You just instantly start to sway and feel it.
So something about the song. Now I want to get off the cringy moment of going back to 3 years ago to early unknowledgeable Jay and Amber, because we didn't have much music knowledge outside of what we normally listen to. But real quick, I want to go to the original Every Breath You Take.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Let's check that out real quick. Here we go. Like the bass, the drums.
Say
Yeah, see, there's even when I go back, like I've heard this song, goodness, many times now after the original reaction, and I don't think that I've ever noticed like the piano or keyboard sound, and it's in the very very background, and I thought I heard a little snippet of it. That's why I tried to just get a little bit closer, but yeah, I've never really paid attention or I feel like heard that keyboard or piano in the back until just now.
Yeah. And in that instrumental bit that had just started a little bit before you stopped, if you listen again at some point, there's a one note piano note, and it's the same note just repeated time and time and time again all through that section. So it's one note that's common to all the chords.
So did you guys put that on a loop?
No. It was all played by real hand.
Wow, that's cool.
Like I was saying before, when we started off making the album, particularly with that song, because Stuart loves playing. He's the most incredible drummer, and he plays these, all that sort of stuff. and Sting wanted it to be really, really simple. And so there was massive arguments there about how we were going to play it. We tried it in all sorts of different ways, and it eventually came out how it came out. But actually, the bass drum is from a drum machine, and then Stuart basically overdubbed the snare drum and then the hi-hat. So he actually ended up putting on all his bits individually. So he never actually played a whole kit through that. And
wow.
I still think to this day he doesn't think that it was probably the right way to play the song, but that was the whole problem with the band at that point, is they didn't seem to agree on anything, or Stuart and Sting.
So they all kind of had their own opinion on what it should sound like.
Yeah, well, especially Sting and Stuart, because what you've also got to remember is that Stuart started the band and invited Sting to play in it.
Oh, I did not know that.
See, I did not know that either.
I didn't know that.
Stuart was really always thought that it's his band, if you see what I mean, and he asked Sting to join it, and they had a different guitar player to start with. But if you listen to the very first Police album, they're not all Sting's songs. On Synchronicity and the album before, they're virtually all Sting songs, because he, fairly quickly became the hit songwriter, and therefore, so you can see the sort of tension there, because by the time the third album came along with Walking on the Moon and Roxanne and all that, Sting was writing all the hits, and he was the lead singer. So it's quite normal to think that it was his band. Yeah. So there was sort of resentment sort of hanging around in the air, if you see what I mean.
But I mean, I would be upset too. I started this band, think it's going to be my band, and now it's kind of taking over. I mean,
yeah.
I would probably feel some type of way about it too. But like we said, whenever we first learned, we thought, Sting kind of was, it was his band.
By the time Every Breath You came out, they were pretty well the biggest band in the world then. But I think we took over #1 album in America with Synchronicity from Michael Jackson's Thriller. We knocked it off its perch.
Wow.
Wow.
That's how big this song was.
Wow. I didn't even know it was that big.
Every Breath You Take is now the most played song in America ever on the radio.
Well, see,
and you had a part of that. Like, how does that make you feel? Like, you having a part in that?
Well, it kind of makes me feel very proud, Because do you know what the song was that it knocked every breath you take knocked off its perch? Was a song called "You've Lost That Loving Feeling." Have you ever heard that by the Righteous Brothers?
I love hearing stories, and man, it took Thriller down. It took You've Got That Loving Feeling down. I mean, that smile right there says it all. Goodness, that's definitely something to be proud of, no doubt about it. Let's go ahead and finish off this video. Golly, that my mind's blown at the moment. Let me get back right. Let's go. It seems like Stewart was taking some frustration out on that snare drum.
Yeah.
Also, the way that he was making those things pop, it sounded like he was taking out a little bit of frustration on.
Do you know how he used to tune his snare drum? It was very easy. When you put a new head on the snare drum, you literally tighten it up until you just couldn't tighten it up anymore, and then that was his tuning. Literally,
that was his too. Just till it couldn't get any tighter.
Yeah, and that was his sound.
You mentioned that he sang one of the songs to have more of a simple take on it, and that was kind of like a disagreement that they had. But I love that it had that simple feel to it, but it was still lush and rich and romantic, and it's so crazy because it carries such a romantic feeling, and it's so beautifully made that when you listen to it, that's what you think it's about originally. And you could see why it's got so much playtime. But when you listen to the lyrics, you can't help but think it's creepy. It's a stalker.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I mean, actually, the lyrics really are the words of a possessive lover who's watching an ex-lover in a sort of obsessive, almost stalking way. And so it's actually quite creepy, and it's sort of really, it's kind of like the opposite of a love song. I remember,
but it sounds so much like a love song.
I know. And I remember talking to Sting years ago, and he said, somebody came up to me the other day and said, we just got married, and it was like the main song at my wedding. And Sting said he thought to himself, "Oh, well, good luck to you guys."
She better not ever leave that man.
Goodness. Hugh, it has been so much fun having you on the channel and kind of just going down memory lane, for us too, going back and listening to this amazing song and getting just these really, really cool insights and stories from you has been an absolute blast. And we can't thank you enough for joining us here at Rob Squad and the Creators. But Before we let you go, any news, anything you would like to share with our RSR family?
Well, just quickly, it is 40 years since Synchronicity album came out, and the record company have just released, or about to release, I think it's sometime in August. I'm here in Greece, so I don't know anything, but it's a 6 CD box set, and they've got live shows from it. They've got some of the demos from the album, some outtakes. But as far as my own career now, I've always been a secret jazz freak, and whether it be contemporary jazz or whatever. And I have a friend who has a small independent jazz label, which I became a part of a few years ago. And so I tend to spend my time in the studio now recording either strange or not so strange jazz records, and it's lovely. The amazing thing with jazz is the musicianship is incredible, and if you're making a jazz record, it tends to be sort of live musicians playing, and we'll make an album in a week at the most, whereas something like Synchronicity with Every Breath You Take on it took like 3 or 4 months.
Right.
Goodness.
So
and you can just knock it out because it's live.
Yeah, because it's kind of live, and you go into a good studio and put up good mics, and you know, the thing
music
with jazz musicians is that they make most of their income from live performances, so they can't hide behind studio electronic jiggery pokery.
So
the genre we love as well. But again, thank you so much. And as we always send everybody out of here from this channel, we love you, we thank you, we appreciate you, and remember, every single day that you guys wake up, it is truly a blessing, and that you are blessed. And for your new family members, to hit that subscribe button down below. We welcome you guys to the RSR family, but y'all have a goal each and every day, just like we do. Let them know.
All right, y'all. All you have to do is go out in this beautiful world today. As a collective, we can spread so much light and love by putting our best foot forward, offering some grace, and maybe trying to make somebody smile.
We love y'all. Till next time. See you guys later.
Thank you for having me.
Every breath you take.